Alexander Payne has directed a number of movies, and they each have some common general themes. The one I see the most is they all seem to involve very ordinary people in common situations. In other words, Payne's movies are not about grand events or people doing something extraordinary. Take his first major movie, Citizen Ruth. Here we have a lowlife, drug-addicted female lead who somehow finds herself to be the focal point of the abortion controversy. Never at any time does Ruth do anything remotely heroic, yet she is the protagonist.
Mom! Dad! Shut up, you fucker!
Election makes an ordinary high school presidential election way too big a deal for most of the characters. Every character in Election has noticeable flaws, and none of these people are particularly likable. About Schmidt is exactly what the title says. It's about a retiring man who's dealing with a sudden realization that he's led a very ordinary, one could say meaningless life. The Descendants takes place in exotic Hawaii, but the main character points out that even on a tropical island, people have the same issues and have to deal with the same problems as everybody else. Nebraska, like Citizen Ruth, Election, and About Schmidt, takes place in Payne's home state of Nebraska. It features a somewhat demented, elderly man on a quest to Lincoln, Nebraska, believing he won $1 million, with a son not sure whether he should stop him or humor him. Now let's move on to Sideways. It came out in 2004, after About Schmidt and before The Descendants. It stars Paul Giamatti as Miles, Thomas Hayden Church as Jack, Virginia Madsen as Maya, and Sandra Oh as Stephanie. Sideways follows the exploits of two male friends approaching middle age, taking a trip to a wine-producing region of Southern California. Miles is a middle school English teacher, while Jack is a low-grade actor who once had a role in a soap opera and now does voiceover work when he can get it. Of course, with this being an Alexander Payne movie, when I say exploits, don't expect anything completely zany or unpredictable. Miles and Jack fit the Payne archetype of ordinary people doing a fairly common thing and taking a week-long trek together. Incidentally, the purpose of the trip on the surface is to celebrate one last week of Jack's bachelorhood as he is getting married the upcoming Saturday. Also, Miles is trying to get a novel published and will likely get an answer from his agent this same week. So, we might believe this is going to be a road trip movie, following the adventures and misadventures of our protagonists. We probably anticipate a romance and some comedic action, or perhaps it will be a more introspective journey within the journey movie where the characters learn about themselves and become better people in the end. Well, it's both all these things, but ultimately none of them. That's the problem that I believe many viewers had when they saw the movie the first time. Many, I believe, went in with fixed expectations and were ultimately disappointed. Perhaps for those of you, this review may get you to watch the movie again. I'm going to explore the aspects that make it so unusual. This analysis is not for those who have not seen the movie. Understand that this is strictly about the movie and not the novel by Rex Pickett. We don't like the main characters. Sideways wastes no time in getting us to dislike the main characters. Miles wakes up, apparently hungover. We later learn that he had come home late that evening from a wine tasting, so when we see his car practically touching the bumper of the car in front of him, we might think he drove home under the influence and parked poorly. But Miles then proceeds to re-park his car right behind another vehicle, indicating he's just a very inconsiderate person, intoxicated or not. He then lies to Jack on the phone, saying he's already on the road. Miles is obviously behind schedule, but appears to be in a little hurry. Perhaps he's not really that enthused about going on the road with Jack. Once he's finally on the road, he's doing the New York Times crossword puzzle while driving. The first time we see Jack, he is obviously irritated that Miles is late. Jack is seen relaxing with his fiancée and his future in-laws. As soon as Miles shows up, Jack wants to leave. Apparently spending time with his family to be is not a pleasant thing for him. This happens again later when Jack prefers leaving a message for his fiancée instead of actually talking to her. Now that Miles and Jack are together, we like them even less. Jack, despite Miles' objections, opens a bottle of champagne while Miles is driving. Miles' objection wasn't too strong, apparently, as he willingly and openly drinks the champagne while driving. Jack then proceeds to lie to Miles about reading the latest revision of his novel. Miles suddenly swerves over to an exit in Oxnard and explains to Jack that he wants to see his mother as it is her birthday. This is a lie as well, as Miles has an ulterior motive. He's there to fund the trip by stealing cash from his mother. Note that the mother's apartment complex looks a lot like Miles' San Diego apartment. In fact, both stairways resemble wine bottle openers. This symbolizes that Miles is a mama's boy. Note that his mother's dresser shows she's on medication. It is revealed shortly after that Miles is also taking multiple medications for his depression. The whole visit is a charade of Miles pretending to be interested in what his mother has to say, and when the opportunity comes, he and Jack sneak away even though his mother wanted to spend more time with them. We next learn that Jack is a womanizer. He sees the trip as a way to get women for himself and Miles. Oddly, Miles, who is single, doesn't seem interested. Remember, Jack is getting married at the end of the week? Oh, and Miles always seems to be in a funk. He's not a happy person and always seems to be irritated with Jack. He commonly uses sarcasm. He's a boozer and is on medications that he gets from his therapist. We are now 18 minutes into the movie, and for 18 minutes we've been given reason after reason to dislike Miles and Jack. Miles and Jack are very different people. There is one scene that brilliantly shows the differences between Miles and Jack. It's at the first winery they visit, where Miles carefully explains the procedures to taste and evaluate wine properly.
Let me show you how this is done. First thing, hold the glass up and examine the wine against the light. You're looking for color and clarity. Just get a sense of it, okay?
Okay.
Thick, thin, watery, syrupy. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, tip it. What you're doing here is checking for color density as it thins out towards the rim. That's going to tell you how old it is, among other things. It's usually more important with reds. Okay?
Okay.
Now, stick your nose in it. Don't be shy. Really get your nose right in there, really. A little citrus. Maybe some strawberry. Passion fruit. And, oh, there's just like the faintest soupçon of like asparagus, and there's just a flutter of like a nutty Edam cheese.
Wow. Strawberries, yeah.
Good.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
Not the cheese.
Put your glass down, get some air into it. Oxygenating it opens it up. It unlocks the aromas, the flavors, very important. Smell again. That's what you do with every one of them.
Wow. When do we drink it?
Now. Are you chewing gum?
Wine tasting is something Miles is passionate about. He is meticulous and obviously quite knowledgeable. This demonstrates that Miles is a complex person. He has layers of pent-up emotions that will briefly come out at key times in the movie. Jack is the complete opposite. He goes along with Miles about the wine tasting, but clearly has no real interest in it. He always likes every wine he tastes, yet is never descriptive about it like Miles. That is Jack in a nutshell. He is simplicity and compliance. This scene is repeated several times where Miles carefully analyzes the wine he tastes. Jack gulps it down and accepts it for what it is.
Tighter than a nun's asshole, but good concentration. Nice fruit. Pour us a couple, eh?
Yeah. It's tight.
Quaffable, but far from transcendent.
I like it. Tastes great. Oaky.
Right.
I don't know. Tastes pretty good to me.
Tastes like the back of a fucking LA school bus. Now, they probably didn't de-stem, hoping for some semblance of concentration. Crushed it up with leaves and mice, and then wound up with this rancid tar and turpentine mouthwash bullshit. Fucking raid.
Tastes pretty good to me.
When it comes to women, it's the same thing. Jack will go after just about any woman he sees, while Miles is much more discriminating. When Miles and Jack are having lunch on Sunday, it becomes very clear that the two have very different ideas on what's going to happen on the road trip.
You need to get laid, Miles. You know what? That's gonna be my best man gift to you this week. I'm gonna get you laid.
Wonderful. This week is not about me. It is about you. I'm gonna show you a good time. We're gonna drink a lot of good wine. We're gonna play some golf. We're gonna eat some great food and enjoy the scenery. And we're gonna send you off in style, Wolfram.
And get your bones smooched.
This conversation basically picks up where it left off Monday at breakfast.
What's the plan for today, Miles?
Good. We head up north. Begin the grape tour up there. Work our way south so that the more we drink, the closer we get to the motel. What's your problem? What is it?
I'm going to get my nut on this trip, Miles, and you are not gonna fuck it up for me with all of your depression and anxiety and neckhead downer shit.
Oh, well, now the cards are on the table.
Yes, they are.
Ah.
And I am serious. Do not fuck with me, Miles. I am going to get laid before I get married on Saturday. Do you read me?
Sure, big guy, absolutely. Loud and clear, whatever you say.